once you're 30, be intentional about looking for a woman or for a man to settle down with, because it gets much more complicated at an older age. A relationship is a convergence of two histories. I have my own history, you have your own history. So you coming together with somebody, you're beginning to learn the person's history and being able to accommodate the person. There are a lot of doors that are opening for women now in Nigeria, and they're really focused on their career for years. And it's when they get to their late 30s that they now hits them that they should start actively looking for partners. It could also be a reason why they like dating older men, because they feel that those men would understand them better and also be able to treat them the right way.
Interesting day. Usually when I sit down in these conversations, I go straight to it. Okay. On occasion, though, I have a guest that excites me, gives me the goosebumps, and you are one such. Dare Olatoye.
Yes.
CEO.
True Flutter.
TrueFlutter. One of Africa's fastest growing matchmaking, dating apps, and all of that. I checked the app. The last I checked, like over 5 million.
Yes, we're the third ranked highest dating app in Africa, after Bumble and Tinder.
Wow. The app is specifically for Africans, home and abroad. That's correct.
Yes.
You know, if somebody just joined this conversation right now, they would probably think this is supposed to be a commercial interview. It's nothing of the sort. I'm curious and I'm wondering, and I'll come back later to what you guys do at TrueFlutter.
Sure.
But again, all the conversation we're going to have is because of the kind of experiences you guys have seen. You have the data, you've seen things.
Yeah, I've seen things.
And I just want to learn some of the things that you guys have seen. So millions and millions of matches.
Yes.
Of Africans. This is the Nigerian company, first of all.
Yes.
I mean, I was just looking at your central operational point, and it lists Lekki here.
Yes.
Yeah. From your records, most of the 5 million people, like on a rough scale, what percentage of them are Nigerians, really?
About 60% are Nigerians, and about 10% are Kenyans, and we have a lot of Africans around the world using the platform. Yeah.
And how about our Ghanaian brothers? Those are our Ghanaian cousins.
Oh yeah, sure.
Or beef has not let a lot of them join.
You know, like I always tell people, if you want to, you don't really have to market in Ghana.
Yeah.
Once you're popular in Nigeria, then definitely a lot of people will download it there. So we have quite like a couple of thousand subscribers there too.
Yeah, I kind of love the love-hate relationship between Nigeria and Ghana. It's like something tells me that if there was ever war, it's you can count on Ghanaians, especially when we align, and we often do align. We like to beef a lot. It's fun. Yeah. I've been watching how they've been beefing Nigeria over our catastrophic World Cup qualification thingy that we managed yet again to bungle, and they're having a ball, and we'll be waiting for them. Their time will come.
Sure.
So let's get to it. The records seem to suggest that there's a noticeable rise in late marriages. I don't know whether you're the right person to even ask that question, or what has your experience shown?
It is. You're actually right. I should say I'm the right person to answer the question.
Okay.
I think for ladies, the issue would be, I think they're more career driven, and they're really focused on their career for years. And it's when they get to their late 30s that they now hits them that they should start actively looking for partners. So from the ladies' perspective is about being more successful. And I think for males' perspective, it's more of they're not as financially stable as they should be. So they rather just take care of themselves for now, rather than bring another person into the mix. So yeah, so I think those are one of the major issues.
Interesting insight. Now, again, we're talking Nigerians here, right?
Africans,
Nigerians and Africans.
Yeah.
The trend would probably be slightly different globally, but
Sure.
basic foundational thing. The women are looking for more empowerment, I guess.
Exactly.
They're looking.
So a lot of women are looking for. There are a lot of doors that are opening for women now in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And a lot of women are. If you look at like most of the banks now, most of the banks are female MDs and female CEOs now, and it's just to show that like a lot of opportunities are being opened for like ladies. And ladies are doing way better than they used to, like 2 or 3 decades ago.
Yeah.
And that's why you see a lot of career women now doing pretty well.
There's a question in my mind I've been asking because, again, I'm observing, and I'm particular about, maybe because I'm a guy, I'm particular. I understand. I can understand where the trends are going in terms of, there's something we used to say, me and my friends, we used to say that sometimes the generations that have gone ahead of us didn't do the coming generations much good. And this uptick that we've seen, particularly late stage millennials, and to a large extent amongst Gen Zs, of especially the women not wanting to commit to marriage early. We're seeing a lot of late 30s, late 40s now. And of course, the successful women we celebrate, but we still also see those who maybe had hoped to be successful. They're not so successful. So career-wise, nothing is looking. Marriage-wise, nothing is certain, and all of that. Do you see some of that uptake where what you are pursuing instead, you don't even grasp? And in terms of interpersonal relationships, you're also not there.
Oh yes, so we see a couple of that, but in terms of, so it all depends. It's all relative. A lot of people, even generally speaking, for men and women, they set some certain standards and setting goals, and they don't meet those goals. But that doesn't mean that they're not in a better place financially than they were before. They're just not where they're meant to be. So yes, I see a couple of women that maybe they had setting goals, but they didn't hit those goals. But they're actually in a better place. And we've been taking we've been taking data for about 7 years now. And if it's one thing I would say, like 80% of the ladies do extremely well compared to the men. So you would say that at least they've achieved their goals.
Yeah, generally. I see that also with the men. And I think you're right, because today's young women seem to be, again, I would really like to see the data, but there has been a leveling that has happened in the last decade or two. You blend cultural insights with data to help individuals find, mates, partners, and stuff. I just wanted to ask you, how did you even get here? What was it that pushed you into dating, being a dating expert, turned tech entrepreneur?
So like sorry, I'll go a bit biblical here. Like my pastor would always say, the greatest discovery in life is discovering yourself and discovering why you were created. And I think I discovered that since when I was in university. I discovered why I was created, because I had this thing for connecting people. I was extremely passionate about it. So one thing a lot of people don't know is that I'm also a very good songwriter and also a singer. So what I used to do in university then is I used to write songs, for men to give their ladies that they liked with the lady's name in the song. And it would always work. So for instance, if it's Kike Lomo now, I'll write a song about Kike Lomo and I'll give the guy to give the girl and she'll be wooed and they'll start relationships. So it was something that I always just liked, the fact that people were just happy in relationships. And I also, for me, I was also at my optimal level anytime I was in love and I was in relationships. So there's one good thing about relationships. When you're in good relationships, you're much more happy. You're in a better space mentally. And I was just passionate about that, connecting people in different universities. I didn't even know it was a business. I was just doing it for the fun of it. And of course, after university, I was in the oil and gas sector for about 10 years. And I just told myself one day, do you know what? I want to do something that is fulfilling, something that will make me add value to humanity, but also something that I enjoy doing. And that's why I started True Flutter.
Fantastic. You know why I'm chuckling? Because, I've said it on one of my podcasts that, in high school, I was the guy who wrote all the love lines for their friends to woo their girls.
Great.
So I can relate.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal. And if you're poetic and you write poems, you write songs like I used to do too, I can tell where that is coming from. But to take that and then build on it to this point where at some point it became a business, that's really grand.
Exactly.
So I'd like to say well done.
Thank you.
I'll come, your success stories are many. They are well documented.
Sure.
We'll come back to see if there had been some that you were aware of that, didn't end up well. Yeah. And you are indeed right. You can easily tell when somebody is in love. You can tell, especially in those early days before the relationship begins to have the normal problems that relationships will normally have.
Yeah.
You could just tell that people tend to blossom when, in the very early stages of a relationship they're happy about, no doubt. So I just wanted to ask you, Nigerians, what does the data show? Beyond what people say publicly, what do Nigerians tend to look out for in a partner?
So that's a wonderful question. And I always tell people that we need to do a lot of re-engineering of how people think and perceive in terms of perception of who they want to fall in love with or want to date. And most Nigerians tend to, and I won't say only Nigerians, most human beings tend to want to date people that they visualize that they want to date since when they were young. Like, let me give you an instance. When I was young, I had a crush on Brandy. But, I had a setting.
Mine was on Dolly Parton.
Okay.
I was going to marry her.
Oh, yeah.
She was much older than my mother, but
yeah. So I had a crush on Brandy, but I didn't end up being with Brandy. So I had a setting. And at a point in time, I also liked Igbo women when I was young. But I didn't end up being with an Igbo woman. But what I'm just trying to say is that, of course, I chopped a lot of breakfast trying to date Igbo women in the past. And I'm allowed to sit down and say that, do you know what? I think I'm searching for the wrong things. What are the kind of things that would make me be in a healthy relationship? I need a woman with values. I need a woman that's also smart, intellectual. I need a woman that's really maybe a bit spiritual too. And those are the things I started looking for. So I feel that a lot of Nigerians, a lot of people tend to look for the things tend to search for things that are maybe their childhood dreams of the kind of people they wanted to date. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the right people for you. So they tend to date the wrong people based on their previous perception of who they wanted to date. So that's what I think that's the major issue. And for a matchmaker, that's what I encounter all the time. A lot of people will say, I want to date this kind of person. But I always ask them the same question. Do you think that same person wants to date you? Do you think that you're compatible? Because when we want to match people, we always tell people that you have to be on the same spectrum. I don't believe in opposite poles attract. A lot of people say opposite poles attract, but I always say that you have to be on the same spectrum when it comes to personality traits
and values,
to have a certain high level of agreeableness. And if you have a high level of agreeableness, then you tend to be in a very healthy relationship. So basically what I always say is that try as much as possible to go back and reflect on the things that are most important to you, to help you realize the kind of person that you deserve and deserves you.
A lot of people end up, I mean, to the point you make about sometimes you're looking for something. Maybe you loved your father so much and you're this young girl and you want a carbon copy of your dad. That's essentially what you want. Or you just want somebody to be like your mother and all of that. Sometimes people go through life trying to replicate something in their life and then life passes them by and all of that. Good matches come, but they let it slip. Would you say if you were going to advise somebody looking for a partner on a scale of, say, on percentages, if you found 40% of what you were looking for, 40%, would you recommend that somebody will go for it?
I would recommend that because I always say something that a relationship is a convergence of two histories. I have my own history, you have your own history. So you coming together with somebody, you're beginning to learn the person's history and being able to accommodate the person. So even if you know 40%, you still have a level of unlearning a lot of things and learning things about your partner and how to be able to accommodate the person. So I feel 40%, as long as it ticks the right boxes in terms of values, in terms of level of agreeableness, in terms of personality traits, it's very important because I always say that if you're an extroverted person, it's better that you date an extroverted person. Maybe less of an extrovert as you are, but being on the same wave, the same spectrum. So it shows that the level of agreeableness should be high. But at least 40% is fine because even my blood brother, I don't even know 100% about him. You learn about even your siblings every single day.
Even your twin.
Your twin. So 40% is actually quite high and good.
Okay. So you wouldn't recommend waiting until you see 80, 90%?
No. You're going
to get old, right?
You get old. You get old. You can never see 80%. You can never see 80%. Never, ever.
Tell me about today's young girls. And is it a trend you're seeing? More and more younger girls are ending up with more and more older men. I don't want to talk about a trending topic about that where there's probably 5 decades between them or whatever it is. Why do you think that is? Or has it always been the case?
I don't think it's always been the case, but a lot of people the younger ones look for security, especially financial security, which is not a bad thing. Everybody wants to be with someone that will be, that'll be financially stable. And sometimes, that like a lot of women, science says that women develop faster than men.
Emotionally,
psychologically. So it could also be a reason why they like dating older men, because they feel that those men would understand them better and also be able to treat them the right way. So I don't think there's nothing wrong in dating someone older than you. As long as you agree on some certain things.
Well, the data suggests that younger girls tend to crush on much older men. So you're in class, you're 16, but the 16-year-old girl in your class is not your mate psychologically, emotionally.
And the younger girls in class always want to date their seniors.
Their seniors, their seniors. Or sometimes even their teachers, especially the NYSC one. We know these things. So it is also rumored that girls prefer married men to single guys, especially guys who wear a ring, and we wear these things supposedly to protect ourselves.
Where does it work?
Does it work? So is that a rumor? Or
it's not a rumor.
Tell
because
me about it.
it's not a rumor because those girls know that those men can take care of them because those men already know they're mature.
They're used to responsibility.
They're used to responsibility. They're mature enough to take care of their family. So they'll be mature enough to take care of them. And it makes it easier for them because they know that there are no other strings attached apart from,
Yeah. No additional drama.
No additional drama.
Does it also mean sometimes it's more transactional?
It should be, it is more transactional because they know that nothing would come out of it. Like marriage won't come out of it. Maybe there's some peculiar cases where marriage will come out. Maybe the man leaves his wife and goes to the lady, but it's very rare because they know that the only thing that they'll really gain from it is the wealth, the money, the cars, the houses, and they're fine with that.
Which brings me to infidelity. It's rampant, isn't it?
Of course, it is.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
It is rampant. My thoughts are, if you, from the man's perspective, is your level of exposure that gives you room to do the things that you're not meant to do. Like, let me use myself as an example. I decided to not do some certain things, to go to some certain places this year. And I've been telling my friends I've been a bit reclusive this year. I've not had the urge to go out. Like when I say go out, like go to a lounge or go to some certain place where I'll be exposed to those things. And that's what happens most of the times when men are exposed to some certain environment, some certain people, they get to be tempted by those things. So there's a lot of infidelity that happens as a result of that. So I think it's your level of exposure, what you expose yourself to that you would actually receive that would tempt you. So, but it definitely happens a lot, not only in Nigeria, but around the world.
No doubt you have a circle of, married men who you, from what you get without necessarily throwing anybody under the bus, how do men deal with the situation, the infidelity question, the relationship? I'm married, but young girls tend to wink at me. What are you getting? An aggregation of how they tend to deal with it.
Well, as a married man, everybody would have someone that wink at them at one point in time or the other.
Yeah.
Even myself as a matchmaker and a dating app founder, I get that a lot. So, it's you can't avoid it from happening. But the thing that would get you out of the mess is how you present yourself, how people perceive you. If they know you're the kind of guy that will not bend to what they're trying to do, they won't wink at you as they should. But like I say, even like I always say, even pastors even have people that do that to them.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's the only way to go about that is just to avoid certain conversations.
Yeah.
You can't prevent them from winking at you, but you can prevent them from having some intimate conversations with you. And it's those intimate conversations that lead to infidelity. So if we can avoid those things, you'll be safe.
So if you put yourself in a compromising situation, if you allow room for it, almost anybody can get to you in the end if they are painstaking and patient.
Anybody can get to you. Anybody.
Scary for husbands, eh?
It's very scary. I remember there's this
and
time.
wives for that matter.
I got to give this story. So there's this person that I employed. This was like a year ago. So the first day she came to the office, she came 11 a.m. First day of work. And when she came, the way she dressed was revealing. So the next day, she just sent me a message that she wasn't going to continue. She wasn't going to continue with the work. I just said, thank God, thank goodness, because I just didn't want to be in that space of, being in a space with someone that be so exposing and tempting. So I was so happy that the person left. So I think there's some things that sometimes you be in certain set of situations that, things people can tempt you, but you try as much as possible with your will and your strength to avoid this being tempted.
It's tough, huh? It's tough. Sometimes I laugh. I don't have money. I'm not even fine. But sometimes you see some kids, much younger than some of your children, boldly make advances at you, and you're like, okay, where is this going? I have a friend, naughty guy like that, who says to me, this guy is a great guy, right? Every other thing. The one thing I don't understand about him is how he handles, the women folk. And he's very blunt. That's one thing. He will tell you, okay, I'm married, I'm happily married, right? But I have some other needs that if you are willing to play game, I'm good. And it works for him all the time. And he ends up with some starry-eyed girl in some hotel room. And then you question him about it. He says, you look at the thing. I think, I'm blunt. Like, why are you so, like, I'm like, this is, and the guy says to me, it's just, I don't want anybody to come tomorrow and tell me you broke my heart or I was expecting, it's just transactional. And it's become a case. I was going to ask you a question, picking off this. If you were going to drop a message to wives, married women, what's the one thing you say to them? You're a man. You have experiences. You're probably a decent man, but you know guys, like my own friend. What would you advise? What's the thing you would say to wives?
Don't have male besties. Don't have male companions. By the time you share whatever you're going through your marriage, by the time you share with a male bestie, you're opening yourself to that person. You're being vulnerable. And being vulnerable brings out a lot of emotions. A lot of people tend to even like you. And you like them in the process. It's just like watching a movie.
Yeah.
You see how movies are shot. You're watching it. You get emotional at a certain scene. And you start getting connected to the movie itself. It's the same way. And a lot of married women make this kind of mistakes. They tend to have male besties. Oh, my male bestie. Oh, before I knew him before we got married. So there needs to be boundaries. And that's what I've seen play out so many times.
So I would not have thought that there was a lot of money in matchmaking. And so you're a matchmaker, you are a dating app owner and founder. You do. I take one look at you, and the first impression is that this has to be lucrative. You look fabulously wealthy or something of the sort.
Thank you.
Like, what kind of money is in this space?
There's a lot of money. I always say, for every problem, there's a solution. For every solution, there's a way to create wealth. And that's what we're doing. We created a solution to a problem, and it's creating wealth. Now, the kind of money that's in this space, we've spent quite a lot. And we're a company that we have investors. We have investors around the world. We've had VCs that invested in our company. So we're running like a proper business. Because we know that this kind of company, there are multi-billion-dollar companies that do what we do. And we tend to mirror those kind of companies and try and see how we can even be better than them. So it's quite lucrative. We have staff here in Nigeria and also in Poland, and they've been with us for years, for about four years now. It's quite lucrative, because people pay for this service, and the thing that people don't understand is that a lot of people pay for this service that you would never expect. Even people in government, there's so many people in high places. There are people that you even assume that they're dating, but they're single. And that's a problem because a lot of people say, oh, this girl is single, this guy is single. Oh, we can't move. Don't let us approach him because she's single or he's single. Well, they're dating, they're single and they're lonely. And they need companionship. They want to settle down. They want to fall in love. They want to be in marriages. And that's why they use our service. Yeah, so our company is quite lucrative. I always tell people that in the midst of other startup starts, some investors invested in, we're still like alive compared to those other guys. And for me, when we created the platform, I wanted to create a proper business. You know, once your income is more than your expenditure, you definitely grow as a company. And I've always thought about that as a founder. Create wealth, create income, but don't ever let your expenditure exceed your income. You know, and I feel like the sky's the limit for us because there's a level of expansion that we're going to do now. And also, if I may add, we make more money outside Nigeria than Nigeria. So we make more revenue outside Africa because a lot of people in the diaspora use our service, use the dating app, and we make more money.
Okay, so over 5 million matches so far. And I'm assuming every match involves two people.
Yeah, sure.
Ever had more than two in a match? Do you ever deal with more than two in a match?
More than two?
Yeah, yes, in a match. So I'm saying every match involves two people, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So that's about 10 million people.
Yeah.
Are there sometimes when you have a match situation that involves more than two people?
I don't know about that. I don't.
So the other question I need to ask you is, what does the data suggest? Have you caught married people, coming into use your service?
Yeah. And we deactivate their accounts.
When you catch them, that is.
Yeah, we do catch them. So our brand positioning has always been, meet your future today, TrueFlutter, meet your future today. So they know that we're like a matrimonial dating app.
Okay.
So that's what we stand for as a company. So when married men come and they use the app, so we have some certain AI algorithms that flag accounts. We have like over 1,000 keywords. You say some certain keywords, it flags your accounts. I can't say them online, but it flags your account. So you automatically get deactivated for life. And I'm a very strict founder. Even if my brother or my sister, flaunts the guidelines or she does anything and they deactivate their account, there's nothing I'll do about it. I just tell them they can go to other platforms. So it's happened so many times. And especially married men. Because they want to let the ladies know that they're married and they don't want anything more than sex, the ladies tend to report those married men. And we oblige and deactivate their accounts.
Do you catch some married women too sometimes?
Oh, yeah. We've actually caught a married man and a married woman.
Two people married to each other?
No, married to other people.
Okay.
We've actually caught those people. And we deactivated their accounts. Yeah.
Let me piggyback just a little bit to what we talked about earlier on about women not having besties. How about the men folk? Men too tend to have women besties. Are you a little more tolerant of? And this is you, Dare. This is not TrueFlutter. Dare, are you a little more tolerant of guys having female besties?
I always say something as Dare, and as the founder of TrueFlutter. Whatever applies to the woman also applies to the man. So if a lady shouldn't have male besties, the man shouldn't have male besties. Because I think the men are actually much more prone. They're much more vulnerable to those kind of situations. So it applies more to the men than even the women. So I don't think men should have male besties. It's very dangerous.
I guess the data will probably suggest that women are a little more resolute around men companions than men are around
Exactly.
women companions. So it's easier for a woman to say no to a guy than for a guy to say no to a woman. I've heard that. I don't have the data. You can check.
Yeah, right. You're very right. Because women pass some certain comments to men, and men just take it as, oh, this girl likes me. So a woman might say, I love you.
Yeah. And we'll be tied to you if a woman decides to get on your case. Sometimes women, they sometimes, maybe for sport or for the fun of it, they might, a woman just gets on your case and decides to, what's the word for it now? Just, harass you and, string you along and all of that. And, I've had colleagues and friends in the past who are very good. The typical femme fatale kind of woman. Most men tend to fall for it, even when you are being led like sheep to the slaughter. Let me ask you, you mentioned where the bulk of the money comes from, outside diaspora and all of that. In Nigeria, what region of the country do you tend to see more of the matchmaking? Do you more Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Robo? I mean, have you ever checked to see?
Yoruba. But, I met some guys from Owerri like a few months ago, and they're like screaming that a lot of people use our app in Owerri. We never advertised there. Yeah. So, but in terms of the matches, in terms of the population, in terms of the numbers, it is actually Lagos and predominantly Yoruba people.
Yoruba men, mostly?
There are actually more men than women on my platform.
So, a lot of Yoruba demons there.
What?
Let me say this. Let me ask you this. One of the things that history has taught us, whether true or not, is that the best love song writers, the best love poem or poets, the best love storytellers, usually are miserable themselves in their relationships. You are a matchmaker, a successful one with records to show for it. Have you found love?
Yes. I met my wife on the platform.
Okay. So you are married. I see your wedding ring.
Happily married.
On your platform.
Yes. And she's a phenomenal woman. She is pretty. She is intelligent. She is God-fearing. She has a good heart. I don't know, babe, have I talked about you like this in person? But she has a wonderful heart. I was thinking about it last week that, man, I mean, she just has a good heart. And, and that's what I was saying, about our priorities as men, what we're looking for in relationships, in marriage. I didn't used to look at this before. I was looking at the fleshy things. I wanted someone that looked like Brandy or someone that was mixed race. I was looking at those things, but I was looking at the wrong things. Now, I have a wife she's also very pretty and very stylish too.
Is she very Nigerian too?
She is Nigerian. Okay. She's very Nigerian. She's Yoruba, babe. She is Nigerian. And yes, I met my wife on the platform. Funny enough, that was the first ever platform she would use. Whoa. She's never had a Facebook account in her life. She's a very quiet person.
So what if she never downloaded your app?
Maybe I would have met Nkechi.
See, therein lies the problem. So you were single when you started this?
Yes, I was.
Well, it would be hard for a married woman to even allow her husband started eating up. I'm just assuming. Yeah.
Well, it all depends. And that's one thing. That's why my wife can never oppose what I do now. Because she met me.
Duh.
Yeah. And she knows I'm extremely passionate about what I do. I remember when we met and she used to talk about other things and it didn't concern me. But anytime she wanted to get my attention, she just, so how's True Flutter doing? Boom. Then I start talking for 30 minutes to 1 hour. So she knew that, and she still knows that I'm extremely passionate about what I do. And that's why it's even good to have somebody that's by your side when you're building something. You know that you have your emotional support when all the chips are down, and you just know that that person is just by your side.
Congratulations to you and to your amazing wife.
Thank you.
It's what Yorubas will say, "Umotigbontie." So she goes on this dating app and says, "Why date any of these people? Just date the owner." And then she caught you.
Yeah,
Like that.
And funny enough, she didn't know I was single.
Oh,
She didn't know. I mean, she was talking to me she met me and we
Yes.
started talking on the platform. But she just thought, okay, maybe the founder is just talking to me, and until I told her.
but she knew from the off that this was the founder. And because of course you will not keep your big mouth shut in the app now, because you have to sell your market, right?
Oh yeah, but I don't put it on my profile. I never used to put it on my profile as a founder. I just put it there that I was a worker in True Flutter. So she didn't know who she was talking to. She just thought maybe I just used to work with them.
Okay.
And the reason why I did that was that before we started True Flutter, I used to have speed dating events with over 100 people in attendance in Lagos. And all those ladies used to ask me, "Oh, Dare, are you single?" And I used to say no, because I just felt that they came to the event vulnerable. And I didn't want to take advantage of that as a founder. So I always just used to say that I was dating. Meanwhile, I was still super single and searching. And
So as I congratulated you, if the reverse had been the case, and God forbid, if the reverse had been the case, would you even own up to me in this conversation?
yes, I would have. Like,
I
not
own a
being
dating
married.
app. I've match made 5 million people plus. I just cannot find love for myself.
Funny enough, a lot of founders abroad, most of them are single.
I know.
Like the biggest relationship coach in UK is single. So I don't think I would have said no. I'll be open.
We talked about Nigeria. On the continent, are there some, you've mentioned a few locations where you're seeing, are there some strange parts of the continent that, you're just surprised to find that people are...
Morocco. I was in Morocco a month ago with my wife, and I just checked on the platform. I saw a lot of people from Morocco, and I was like, wow, I've never advertised in these countries before. I've gone to Qatar. I've seen a lot of people too on the platform using the app. So it's just grown organically. It's grown, and a lot of people are using it in different parts of the world. So I always say that even my partner was in India and saw a lot of people. As a matter of fact, there's a time that a lot of Indians used to download our platform and use our platform. So it's just grown organically to those countries.
I understand the Indian. I live on a street with a lot of Indians, and through the years, they constantly chased my wife. I used to be a time I used to say, if I ever lose my wife, I'll probably lose my wife to an Indian. And I used to ask my wife, why is it with you and Indians? She couldn't go for a walk on the street without having an encounter with some new Indian guy asking questions. And we used to have a good laugh about it. And I used to even, we never got, I used to joke with the thing, we'll probably go on a walk, I'll be a few steps back and just, enjoy the view, that kind of a thing. Which also makes me think of interracial dating, marrying, and all of that. There seems to be an uptick. Is that true of your dating app? And what do you think is driving it?
I think it's one of the instances will be Afrobeat. Yeah, which is true. A lot of we're more popular. There's this lady from Ireland, this Irish lady that she just downloaded the app, and I was wondering. She just said she wanted to meet Nigerians on a dating app. Then my dating app came up and downloaded the app. And she said, oh yeah, it's because of Afrobeat. So a lot of our musicians have put Nigeria on the map. We're now more popular. So a lot of people from different ethnicities always want to date Nigerians, are also Africans. If you look at Portugal, we have a lot of people from Portugal using our platform too. And things have just changed because we've become more popular.
Let me jump here to some videos that we see on YouTube, especially of young Africans, mainly Nigerians, and even some of the dating programs, 90-Day Fiancé, and all of that. You see a lot of a good number of marrying women, contemporaries of their grandmothers, and all of that. Is it love or insurance policy?
Some will be insurance policy, but I know the one you're talking in particular, the one in 90 Days Fiancé, the Indian dude married to an American lady that's a mom's age. But you know that they're the longest. I think they're one of the guys that have stayed together.
Happy for the Indian dude. How about the Nigerian guy who ends up marrying this much older American lady? There are always problems. There's the Yoruba guy, and then there's also the Hausa guy.
The Hausa guy. So for the Hausa guy, it's dated like two older women. So I think that one was for the optics, and that one was for financial reasons. That's my own perception. So because I think he used them. And remember, he married the first one, got a few things and moved on to the next one. I mean, the Hausa dude. And I even think for the Yoruba dude, I think he played his cards right. He knew what he wanted. Even though there's a lot of pity party, the guy was very quiet, the lady abused him, but the guy knew what he wanted. Well, I always tell ladies, don't date that kind of guy. don't date that kind of guy, because that guy was so calm, even in the midst of abuse. She abused him, beat him up. She came to Nigeria at that time, but he still knew what he wanted. He wanted to get into America. And immediately he got into America. A few months later, he left her, right? And he said, she abused him too much. After how many years that he endured the abuse, he couldn't endure it again in America. So it's very evident that one was for the the green card. So yeah.
Interesting. So I just want to hear, I know you've said some things along these lines, but if you needed to advise Nigerian youngsters, the women especially, things they need to work on to foster healthier relationships, what would those be?
The first would be, please be very intentional about settling down at a young age. Once you're 30, be intentional about looking for a woman or for a man to settle down with, because it gets much more complicated at an older age. I've said this so many times. Because you're intentional doesn't mean you're desperate. A lot of people tend to focus more on work and abandon the relationships. But please, you can do that hand in hand. Be more intentional about getting married at a young age, because there are a lot of things that come into play. There's childbirth. And when you get close to 40, men have reservations. This is valid. And this is why it takes time for some people to get matched, some ladies to get matched, because men ask these valid questions that, what happens about childbirth? It's valid. I'm not going to say you should have hope that it will happen. You should have things in place. You should be more intentional about. That's why you should be more intentional about dating at a young age, so you can settle down at a young age, so you can start having kids in your early 30s. So that's my advice to ladies, be more intentional. I'm not saying you should lose yourself in the process of trying to date somebody. Don't lose your essence, but just be more intentional. And the other thing I always say is that you can't have it 100%. Just look for someone that has a good trajectory in life, a man that has a plan. A man with a plan is solid. A man with a plan. There's so many relationships I've seen that the man didn't really have it all together, but he had a plan. in terms of his business career and all that, and it all ended well. So my advice is be more intentional in terms of settling down, and you'll definitely be good.
So how about the men folk? I'm a father of boys. And, you know, understandably, sometimes you worry. So what would you consider some of the difficult truths that men need to face, particularly about themselves when it comes to dating and commitment?
So, there's no wishful thinking. This is not a fairy tale movie. There's not a romantic movie. You need to have things in place. Be financially stable for men. Now, I'm not saying that you should have all the money in the world, but have a plan. If you want to settle down, you know that you need to have finance to settle down. And if you have finance to settle down, the relationship becomes better. One of the major reasons why a lot of people file for divorce is financial reasons, because that causes a lot of strain in relationships and in marriages. So if you would like to prevent that from happening, you should have like a stable source of income before you settle down. It's very important. Like I said, you need to have all the money, but at least to have something that comes in monthly that you know you can sustain yourself and your partner. But finance is extremely important.
Some sense of security.
Oh, yes.
If you cannot afford to look after yourself, why get somebody else intertwined with your wahala problem?
Exactly.
All right. How about this trend of women earning more than men? Which is, and you know, it's increasing. Look into your crystal ball. Do you think it's just a flash in the pan? Or what do you see? 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years down the line?
What I see is it's been happening. It's not new. A lot of women earn more than men. We have a lot of successful men too, no doubt. But I always say it's nobody's business. It's your business and your partner's business in terms of what you earn. Nobody knows apart from both of you. And it's a convergence. You're complementing each other. It's not competition. It's not like, oh, I earn more than you, I do this more than you. It's not about that. It's about knowing your strength and your weaknesses as a partner. Okay, what is your strength? How can I complement you as your husband or as your wife, even though you earn more than me? So it's about complementing each other. And if people have that same mindset going into relationships or marriages, it won't become an issue. Because the wife understands that, okay, she earns more than the husband. So she will have to do these things. But there are ways that the husband has to level up to, in terms of, okay, I don't earn as much, but at least I can level up in some certain areas in the family. So it's just about complementing each other.
Some people fear that, okay, I could have that kind of mindset, but how am I to know that the person I'm ending up with has that mindset? So sometimes insecurities, you agree?
Yes.
Those insecurities make people a lot more defensive. And once you go into a relationship defensively...
Oh, you're saying this to me because you earn more than me? So how does it deal with his insecurities?
So it's tough. It's a question that you look, because a lot of times people, at the risk of sounding religious, because some people think it's not so cool to talk about religion. People chafe at, like biblical principles for relationships, for instance. They'll be like, it doesn't work and all of that. Yet there are people who apply them. And they usually tend to be happier. You did say that even, religious leaders get caught in the whole web of infidelity and all of that. But again, you are reminded that first and foremost, there are no perfect humans anywhere. So it comes down to what you do. Let me ask you about red flags. What are some of the most common red flags that your experience has shown you that people tend to ignore, but that usually comes back to bite them?
So red flags would be, and this happens a lot when you're so much in love, and your love clouds your judgments to see those red flags. So the red flags will be, how do they treat people around them? How do they treat your family members? Do you know that some people you get married to and they don't want you to be around your family that you grew up with? So it's very important. And you see those things when you're dating. How do they treat their friends? How do they treat their maids? How do they treat the drivers? How do they treat people around them? So those are the things. That's one red flag. The other red flag would be temperament. It's very important. Like, do they get mad at things easily? Are they quickly? Do they get upset easily? How do you address those kind of issues? So those kind of red flags are very important too. Do they give? Are they givers? So those are also red flags. Okay, are they people that give a lot, or they don't like sharing things with people? So those are a few red flags there. And how do they? Some people, my own red flag would be, I don't like it when people they put up their business out there in the public, like everything about them.
Like Ned Nwoko and Regina Daniels.
I think it shouldn't be out there. They should solve it internally. Solve it internally, But I think that their own issue would be because when they got together in the first place, it was out there for everybody to see.
Yeah.
So right now that everything is not going well, I guess it's still out there for everybody to see. But I always expect people to, your business is your business. You can't share your business with strangers and family members and friends, because there are a lot of strangers that you don't talk to that would know about your business. So that's also a number one red flag for quite some people. Some people don't like their businesses being out there. You don't know anything about them. You don't know about what they do. So that's also a number one red flag.
And I agree with you. I tell people, if you're dating some guy, watch how he relates to his sister. Because tomorrow, you are his sister or his mom and all of that. When I was a much younger guy, there was a girl who really liked me and I kind of liked her. But because I went a bit too close and I observed how she related in her home with her family members, I was just like, this person's going to kill me. You understand? And then once a family member of hers was asking me, what's it with you? Why are you being so stubborn? Why are you not? I was just like, and I just said plainly, your sister's going to kill me. Back to what we see today. Hookup culture is a big thing.
It is.
There's fear of heartbreaks. There are trust issues, DNA issues. They trend, they come, and they're going to keep trending. How do you encourage young people to date more intentionally instead of just giving up?
First of all, it's the level of association of people you're around with. I think these days it's become really bad that a lot of people tend to sexualize a lot of things, like in the public. Even if they're trying to sell a business, they're trying to wear something skimpy because they're selling something. And, I think the world, I don't know if it's the world, but Nigeria has become that kind of place where people are just trying to do that. So in terms of being intentional, you need to even be with the right people. You need to expose yourself to the right kind of information. Like, for instance, there are a lot of things that I don't follow on Instagram because of the kind of information I just put in every day. And what people don't understand is that people are more addicted to their phones than they were addicted to the TV.
Yeah.
So you spend, if you check, I think now there's a timer on your phone. You can check the number of hours you spend on social media.
You get a weekly report.
When
I see my weekly report, I usually panic. And then I adjust for a few days and then you get again.
Yeah, so it's a level of exposure. What are you exposed to? What kind of information are you exposed to? And it's those kind of information that shapes your mind on the things that you want, even in your relationships. And that's why a lot of people even see so many things that are not what they seem to be, and they just assume that this is what they want their relationships to be like. Meanwhile, it's not actually perfect. So it's the kind of information you expose yourself to, and also the kind of gatherings you're in. Because if you want to date someone like yourself, I always ask one question. ask yourself a question. If you were to date yourself, would you date yourself? So whatever you want to say in that person, you must also have that kind of thing. So the kind of person you date is the kind of people that you're going to be around with, the same circle with, the kind of people that you know you can have conversations with. You can actually take to your family and also have those kind of conversations. So be more deliberate about the kind of places you go to, the kind of people you associate yourself with, so you can end up being with the right partner.
Which takes me to social media and its impact on relationships in a modern world. Yeah, you probably know about this gay fellow who runs a gay university. Some, supposedly a comedian and all of that. But not so long ago, this voice, saying things to the men folk, and the men folk, there's even a trend on TikTok, like taking what he says as gospel. A lot of young men just, they run with it. And some say it causes tremendous problems. I wonder what your thoughts are and about things like this.
One thing that just came to mind, is it the Nigerian Andrew Tate?
Andrew Tate and his brother, what's his name?
Yeah.
Brother?
So for me, I don't actually listen to what he says, because I feel that, it's every information out there is not information for you.
Yeah.
It's not information for everybody. So I choose what I listen to. I choose what the kind of information I put in. Funny enough, I've seen clips. I know he has a university. I know some people, I just see videos of people taking notes, but I choose not to.
Initially, I thought it was just all content and trend, but then I heard that some people really take these things really seriously.
Okay. Yeah, people take it seriously, but like I always say, one of the things I always say is that every relationship coach, whatever, motivational speaker, whatever they say is not for everybody. It will work for some people, but it may not work for some people. And even with him, with the gay guy, I would say that it might work for some people. It might not work for some people. For me, I chose not to listen to him because I already have some certain mindset of some certain things. So I would rather just keep it that way and not just listen to something that would just floor everything I've learned. So yes, I would say that it might work for some people. It might not work for some people.
And then there are the cider Borges for the women folk who encourage women to build them. Somebody says hello to you, build them, that kind of mindset. So talking about social media, do you think social media is making Nigerians have unrealistic expectations? Or is it really exposing who we truly are deep down?
It makes Nigerians have unrealistic expectations. Because I want to ask a question. If you earn a lot of money, would you need to build them? If you can afford to buy a glass of or a bottle of champagne yourself, why would you have to build someone for it if you can afford it? So it's the people that can't afford it that maybe she's reaching out to, that kind of audience that they really can't afford those things on their own, that are telling them to build men. But if you're a lady that has dignity, you would buy your drinks yourself. You don't have to bill men for all the things you need. Because why would you be depending on men? And that's why I always tell people, if you need to be complete yourself before you even want to be in relationships. If you think that you want to be in a relationship because you want to rely on a man, then that's an issue. Because what if the man goes? What happens to you when he goes? If he goes? So you need to be complete. Know that you are contented with what you have. Then if something is added to it, that's fine. But you can't be passing messages across saying that people should be billing people. And do you think that the men will have respect for you? What if the man sees someone better than you? He'll move on to the next person.
So let's go to a complicated topic now, and you can tell me what your experience is. Nigeria is, compared to the West, relatively socially, pseudo-psychologically conservative. But Western influences have crept in a great deal in recent times, at least partly due to social media. So I want to ask you about same-sex dating. Do you see that on your app?
No.
Not at all? Why? Is it not that you've never encountered that?
The app is not designed for that.
Okay.
The app isn't designed for that. My co-founder would give me the head, but it's fine. We always try to be politically correct. And since we started the company, we've always tried to be politically correct, but the app is not designed for that. If you sign in as a man, you only see women. If you sign in as a woman, you only see men. That's how the app was designed.
Don't you get pushbacks? Or how do you navigate that, minefield?
If they have that idea, they can create their own dating app that supports that's specifically for that. I mean,
it's getting tougher and tougher, especially because your app has a substantial, pretty much, international audience. Sure. I know it's for Africans, right?
Yes,
but you do get non-Africans who come.
Oh yeah.
Are you prepared? Because if you haven't experienced it, it will come. How are you going to handle it?
I don't have to be. I don't have to handle that because there are dating apps in the States like Grindr. It's for what? It's for specifically for that.
Yeah.
So if they want that, they could go to.
You can give them referrals.
Yeah, Grindr is for that. So I can give them that to go download the app and have a nice time. But for us, I'm sorry, we didn't build the app for that. So it's.
What's the minimum age on TrueFlutter?
18.
18. Maximum?
90.
So, but when you do get older requests, you still try to background as much as you can to try and see whether this is just some man looking to increase their harem and all of that.
So we understand that some older men in their 70s and 80s want companionship. And they necessarily might not want to get married again. But of
widowers.
Widows or widowers. And we understand that there are a lot of people like that. Even someone just paid for his father today, like a few hours ago. I just saw the message. They paid for their father. The father is in his late 70s. And he needs a companion. So I think sometimes some children will know that they want their father to be happy, because they know that depression could lead to,
Yeah.
And so we cater to those kind of people too.
Do you get instances of people who met on the matching app and it was great initially, but it's now gone sour, who then come back to you and expect you to render some sort of a counseling or some sort of counseling service? Or
no, actually. So for the life of me, nobody has reached out. All the people that have gotten married, they've not divorced. Not that I know of. They've not reached out to me, and so I've not gotten that. But I always tell people that we're open. Our doors are open to people that need counseling. We have in-house counselors, marriage counselors that is pro bono, that need advice, and they can reach out to us and we give them advice. But for now, we've not had a couple that have either divorced or they have marital issues.
You're able to track the match-ups, the successful, how many people you match make. Are you able to some degree track, and you probably will never know the most of it, but are you able to track in terms of how many of them then progress all the way to marriage?
So we can't track everything. And that's the truth. We can't reach out to everybody. Some people reach out to us. It's the people that reach out to us that we do follow-ups on. Like sometimes we just hear that, oh, my uncle or my uncle met his wife on your platform. That's why I'm using it. But the uncle never got in touch with us, And so we've seen a lot of stories like that. We've seen a lot of people that. So we've not been able to track them unless they reach out to us and send us messages themselves. So some do video testimonials for us, and some just say that, okay, they don't want the videos out there or pictures out there. They just wanted to just thank us for what we did, But
I've seen a couple of testimonials, in the app. I'm not allowed to download, am I?
You're not. You're a married man.
Okay.
Happily married.
Yes, and I'm grateful for it. So it's also a message to married men: please stay off the apps.
Oh yeah, please.
And let the people who really need it get what they want. I want to ask you one final question. Just one final question. 2025, the Nigerian dating scene. Chaotic, turbulent, work in progress. How do you define it?
It's a work in progress. And it's also been, it's been turbulent. There are a lot of narratives out there that's changed a lot of things on how people see relationships, which I feel that I've noticed that negative news travels faster than positive news.
No doubt.
So people that are happily married, those news don't really go around more than divorces. Because you see all these blogs, that's what they push out.
If it bleeds, it leads. Good news doesn't sell. It's bad news that
exactly
sells.
We need platforms that would change the narrative. Because there are also people that are happily married, and there's just so much toxicity that's out there, and it's shaped people's perception of, do I want to do I ever want to marry because of what I'm seeing? And a lot of people, if you check comment sections, man, that's why I'm not married, that's why I don't want to get married. A lot of people see these things on the comment sections of people, stories that about divorce. And that's why we should be able to change the narrative that it's wonderful to be in relationships. When you're in good relationships, you perform better. Like I always say, we're in the problem of, we solve the problem of loneliness, because loneliness leads to depression. So singleness leads to depression. Depression leads to, could lead to other things. And that's what we do. So the narrative is out there. It's so much negative. And we need to be able to change the narrative as a country, that happy marriages out there, and happy marriages is something that we should always want, also something that we should long for as people.
Thank you for saying that. Because again, one last thing I would trouble you with is regarding the perception that there are hardly any men who are faithful to their wives and who are not involved in infidelity. Society, everything wants you to believe that it is almost impossible. The other thing, again, is that pressure, society, social media, movies, music, everything tends to make you believe that there are no young people who are not sexually active, And sometimes when you see a young person who's not yet sexually active, they kind of feel like maybe they are losing out or they are weird. And their friends tend to pressure them, and all of that. Your thoughts?
So like I said, it's been. I think the society they push a lot of negative things out there, like men that are. Do you know that men that send me mails like 5 a.m. in the morning that their target is to get married in the next 6 months? And a lot of women don't know it, because a lot of what the society will say is that a lot of men are scum, right? But there are men that have targets. Okay, I want to settle down, I want to get married. Please, can you find me a partner? There are men that who travel all the way to other states to see the woman that they met. So people should leave that narrative of the fact that there are men that are looking for serious relationships. There are good men that will not cheat on you. I think it's all a matter of mindset. And it's all a matter of, as a man, do you love your wife? As a man, are you contented with what you have?
Do you respect her? Do you
honor
her?
Do you respect her? Do you honor her? And that's the thing, because it's when men are like, if they have that mindset, that they start going out, because they're not in the relationship for the right reasons. So what I like to say is that the narrative needs to change. There are men out there that are good. There are also women that are fantastic out there. So a lot of men will also say, are there wifey materials out there? So because it seems a lot of negative news that goes out there. Men will say there are not enough wives. Women will say they're not good husbands. They're not good husband materials. But there are really great people out there. And also the narrative of, also other negative narratives are out there that marriage doesn't work. And I'll get a bit biblical. The devil doesn't want marriage to work. And that's the truth. Devil never wants marriage to work, because they know it's a union. That's what God intended us to have, marriage. And the devil never wants it to happen. So there'll always be negative news, negative things about marriage. And for all those that think that marriage is smooth sailing, I also want to talk about that, because a lot of people will say, as much as I talk about relationship and marriage and how wonderful it is, you also need to be very mature as a person, to be able to handle certain things, conflict resolution in marriages. So if there are issues that come up, which they will definitely come up, you're not marrying a robot, or neither is a robot marrying you, or neither are you a robot too. So definitely there'll definitely be conflicts. It's how you resolve those conflicts that matters the most. But marriage is definitely a wonderful thing.
Dare Olatoye.
Yes.
CEO, co-founder of True Flutter.
Yes.
Top 5 globally?
Top 3 Africa.
Top 3 Africa. Top 3 Africa. Well done. Such a fine pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you.
We should do a part 2 someday.
Sure.
Someday.
Sure.
Well done, my brother.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
All the best.
Yeah. Thank you so much.